So, Dane, we know that in America, Stellantis is struggling out of the big three
Yep.
between GM, Ford, and Stellantis.
Yep.
But in Japan, Nissan is the one that is struggling between the big three of the Japanese auto manufacturers,
hmm
between Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. Nissan is clearly in last place. They are in trouble. Dane, what are you going to do about this?
I'm not sure there's anything I can do other than maybe just fire the entire marketing department at Nissan
Marketing.
and hire a new one. Yeah, because in reality, these Nissan cars aren't bad. They're not littered with problems. I mean, every car's got its quirks, but they're not bad cars. They're pretty reliable. They're good. Most of these are just good point A to point B cars, which if you're looking at their competitors, um, like your Toyota or your Honda, they build a lot of the same thing, point A to point B cars. They're not flashy, they're not showy, they're not extravagant by any means. And Nissan's priced better, and they just can't sell these dang things because I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Get
Well, let
somebody
me
else to market these things.
let me explain what I think is the problem.
Yep.
All right, so their profits are down by about 70% between 2023 and 2024. Almost 40% of dealers are now making a loss. They
hmm
are losing money. The dealerships are losing money. They got about 1,071 dealerships in the US.
hmm
So they are losing they're losing market share, they're not making any money, and I think the problem is definitely not the GTR's fault. That's the best car
Well, they're not going to make it
in the
anymore.
world. But no, the problem is they're not that they're bad looking or that they're marketed bad. I think the problem is their powertrains. They are
Mm.
lagging behind Toyota and Honda. They don't have any hybrids. A lot of people think that's the problem. And number two, they have a lot of these. They have like a 1.5 liter and a 2 liter variable compression rate engine,
hmm
and a lot of people don't like that engine. I know I don't. I don't like variable compression engines. I think it's too complicated. They got a bad reputation from their CVT transmissions. They don't
hmm
get the miles per gallon as much as their competition, which is basically Toyota and Honda.
hmm
And they're being left behind. I don't think the vehicles look bad. They're just they're not up to par.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've driven them, the newer ones, older ones. They're so comparable to anything else in its class, and they're usually coming at a cheaper price point. But yeah, I mean, the things you say, I don't know if there's a make or breaks for a consumer. Maybe they are, and this
I
really isn't
guess
my
something's
market,
going on.
is it? Yeah.
So they're talking about this in this other article. They're saying Nissan's hybrid mistake cost the Rogue sales. So the Rogue
Mhm.
is like their small little crossover kind of thing.
Yep.
They refreshed the looks of it. The looks of it aren't bad. I mean,
Fine.
they're
Yeah.
not really inspiring, but they're okay. I think they don't get the miles per gallon.
Yeah. Do you think people are wanting hybrids that bad though?
Yes.
Hmm. Well, okay. So, like, do we have comparative sales for like Rav4 hybrid and Rav4, standard,
Here,
ICE engine?
there. This is it right here. According to Auto News, both
hmm
Toyota and Honda are doing great with those models, meaning the RAV4 and the CRV,
Yep.
this year. During the first 6 months, RAV4 sales are up 33%. CRV has seen a 20% bump in the same time frame. The
hmm
Rogue, on the other hand, is down 4.5%.
Right. But how many of those CRVs and the RAV4s are hybrids, though?
Um, I think they're mostly selling hybrids.
Is it?
Uh,
Oh,
I think the RAV4 is mostly hybrid. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I know I read some articles that were saying most of Toyota and Honda's sales, at least their sales jump, was due to their hybrids that they're selling.
interesting. Yeah,
Like,
I know my parents just bought with a hybrid, but I
yeah,
didn't know
see,
if most of them were hybrids or not. Really were Toyota, or I'm sorry, not Toyota, but Nissan lacks is the interior. The Toyota interior is much nicer.
Yeah,
The
you
Honda
think
one's
so?
a little bit better. But like I said, the Nissan is a cheaper price point car. That's kind of where they always have fallen in, is either cheaper option, but they're still reliable. If you want a reliable car that is going to maybe save you a little bit of money, great. But they also depreciate faster too, so that's the downside
Well,
as well.
hybrids?
Well, just in general, the Nissans are going to depreciate
Oh,
faster than
Nissans.
Toyota
Yeah, that's because,
or a
I
Honda.
mean, when nobody wants to buy them at the beginning, nobody's going to want to buy them at the end either, I
Right,
guess.
they're just not as desirable. You don't really have the same enthusiasts that are, kind of buying that Nissan as a brand. There was a lot of Nissan enthusiasts with the early Z cars and of course the GTR, but they, didn't have a Z car for how long? They have a new one now, but I think it's kind of a flop. I don't think it looks very good if you ask me.
You know what? I'm going to have to kick you off of this podcast if you
Why?
ever talk about the Nissan Z not looking good again.
The 300, you think that car looks good?
I love the way that car looks, man. It looks
What
amazing.
planet are you on? That thing
I'm
looks
on
terrible.
Earth, planet Earth, where the Nissan Z looks amazing. A lot of people
I'm
love
glad they
that car.
brought back a two-door sports car, but
It's so retro, man. You gotta like the older ones to like appreciate it. It's
I
very
do.
retro.
I like the ones out of the '70s the most. Those I like
Yeah,
the
it
early ones.
looks
Yeah,
similar to that. Like, what do you? I
yeah,
think you're
it does what it
puffing too
does.
many paint fumes.
This is probably true. This is
All right,
probably
but I mean, these Nissans, the core sales are not like sports cars. They are like
no, they
the
never are.
soccer mom, grocery getter
Yeah,
cars. And in this economy, I think that when you're looking to buy any car, you're like, look, let me get the best miles per gallon that I can get. And Nissan just behind on that. So
yeah. I like to
let's look.
see how they compare to like Hyundai then, who isn't a Japanese company, but is in that same kind of price
Uh,
point, same, competition arena. How are they sizing up? Because the
I
Hyundai
think
sucks.
Hyundai's doing okay right now. They're doing better than Nissan. I know that.
Yeah, but I'd
They
never buy
got
one.
they have hybrids though. They got hybrids and electric cars. Hyundai's doing a lot better than Nissan.
Hmm.
All right, so let's look in the comments, see what these guys think. So this guy says, as others have stated, it's because of the VC3 cylinder and it's a reliability disaster. They actually need to replace the entire engine if something goes wrong because of its design and how Nissan manufactures it. Really?
That's news to me.
Yeah, I didn't know they had to replace the whole engine, but I know one of their engine is a 3-cylinder, and
Mhm.
I hate 3 cylinders.
Yeah, it's a small displacement,
Ugh.
for sure. I mean, obviously, if you don't want that motor, don't get that motor. But no, odd number doesn't mean nothing. There's been inline fives since forever, and those things are awesome. There's
Oh,
been
I
inline
hate.
fives from Mercedes. There's been inline fives
I know,
from
but they're inherently unbalanced.
fives. No, they're pretty smooth.
No,
Not as
you got
bad
to
as
put like a
the
balance shaft on those. Like you
Mhm.
don't have the equal amount of cylinders going up and down.
Eh, I don't know. So Audi made it work for a long time. Mercedes made it work.
Audi,
Audi,
uh,
oh yeah.
I don't like Audi.
Well, the early five-cylinder motors were pretty stout. That's what was in all like their all-wheel drive cars that were like in the Group B rally and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean they're good for rally. I'm talking about like 200,000-300,000 miles type of thing.
They'd last if you
They
did
do.
your
Oh,
basic maintenance and whatnot.
okay. Well, Dane likes 5 cylinders. I do not like these 3 cylinders. This guy says it's not because of a lack of hybrid. It's because the 1.5-liter VC turbo has already had reliability issues, so people still don't trust on this engine at all.
Mm. Sounds like they know something I don't know, which is possible. I'm not the most keen on what Nissan's doing these days.
Yeah. So this guy says, I drive the 3-cylinder Rogues at work all the time. This
Mhm.
peppy little engine, they're peppy little engines, but they feel rough. Definitely should have put a more reliable 2-liter VC turbo in the Rogue. All
Mm.
right. Well, I guess the GT Nissan blew it. This guy says, Nissan, you blew it. Hybrid is now all the rage.
Get on the hybrid hype train, guys.
I've been saying this for a while. I
Mhm.
think what happened was a lot of people saw my "What is the best year RAV4" video, where I
Mhm.
said you should get the hybrid version of the 2024 RAV4. That caused millions of people to go and get the hybrid of the Toyota. Do you think that's true, Dane?
Well, if that is true, Toyota's or Nissan's coming after you now. Class action lawsuit against MJ 100K for tanking sales.
I'm gonna have to do a video on Nissan. What is the best year Altima? And look at this article. The 2025 Nissan Altima loses
Mhm.
its turbo. So they are getting rid of their turbo, and now they're only going to have a 2.5-liter four-cylinder that makes
Mhm.
188 horsepower. I like this idea, Dane. I don't
Mhm.
like turbos. I am turbophobic. Uh, but I think they add a bunch of complication, but I think they should use the 2.5-liter engine with a hybrid powertrain transmission. I think that is the perfect combination for reliability.
Yeah, it's pretty reliable and pretty bulletproof. You can do a lot with the turbo motors too, but if you're just as a manufacturer just starting to work with turbo technology, it's going to take you a little bit to get it right. So do your homework, make it bulletproof.
Yeah, I mean, because hybrid ECVT transmissions, they are so bulletproof, man. There's a couple motor generators, some gears, and like that's it.
Mhm.
The hybrid battery, I've been looking at them. They're not that much bigger than a regular battery. Like maybe it's you put together like about 8 of them as far as size,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like they're not that big or expensive anymore anyway.
Right. Yeah. And if something did go wrong, you can always fall back on your regular drive line.
Yeah, so that's what I think Nissan got this half right. They need to get rid of their turbos. They need to get rid of variable compression, 1.3-liter engines, or 1.5-liter engines. They're just freaking too little. I don't like them. I don't like variable compression. There's just one more thing that could break. I don't
Yeah.
like turbos. I'm feeling really grumpy right now. I don't like a lot of the stuff, but I like hybrid powertrain. And Dane, this just shows you. I know people think that CEOs are overpaid, but you know
Hmm.
what? When you have the CEO, I mean, they make the wrong decisions, or at least decisions that aren't as good as other CEOs.
Hmm.
You're in a you're in a quandary now, and it takes years to dig yourself out of this hole.
Exactly. Yeah, you're in a tough spot because now you're costing shareholders, large sums of money, and that heat is on you to turn that around. So those guys don't sleep at night when they're losing people's money.
I know, and people are always like, "Oh, well, the guy on the line, he the CEO makes 50,000 times more than he does." But you know what? If the CEO doesn't make the right decisions, the guy on the line loses his job.
Right.
That's it.
You
So
got a lot more responsibility. Everybody wants to be the CEO when stuff goes right. When stuff
yeah,
goes wrong, nobody wants that job.
yeah. So Nissan is in trouble. I don't know what they're going to do. It takes years to just change powertrains all over the place, and
Mhm.
they don't look like they have a lot of time. I think they're probably going to end up either being forced to merge with another OEM like maybe Honda, or
Mhm.
they might need to get a bailout from the Japanese government, which is fine. I mean, look, these companies employ so many people. Can't just let them go bankrupt. I mean, you just
Right.
can't.
Well, you got to make a good product first, though. I mean, the market's going to decide. You can't just keep making a crap product either, just to keep people in a job.
Yeah.
We're not on government support here.
Yeah, well, that's why I think they're probably I heard Nissan and Honda are supposed to be getting together to make electric cars.
Mm.
But one of the former CEOs, I think it was a former CEO in Nissan, he said he thinks that is basically Honda is going to take over everything from Nissan,
Mm.
like not just electric cars, because they probably need a better direction and focus. But I think that would probably be better. Let Honda run Nissan, at least tell them what to do, and have everybody stay employed.
There you go. Everybody's happy. MJ still get the 300Z. The world is good.
There we go. So that's what we think should happen. and I'm sure everyone is very concerned with our opinions. Let us know your opinion in the comments. Let us know what is wrong with Nissan and how they can fix this pickle that they're in. Thank you for tuning in and have a good one.
See you guys.